6:23. Welcome to Tuesday, the 8th of November 2022. Good morning, bonjour, buenos dias. This is the Citi Breakfast Show, live on Citi 97.3 FM. My name is Nathan Quao. Sitting in for Bernard Avle. Many thanks for joining us. It's always an honor and pleasure bringing you the biggest breakfast in town. Make yourselves comfortable, grab a seat, and let's have breakfast. Join us on the number 0549 986 996. On Twitter at Citi973, hashtag CitiCBS. And you're listening to us live all around the world via citinewsroom.com. Daughters of Glorious Jesus starting us off this morning. We begin with our business sense, proudly brought to us by ADB. ADB is giving you the Payday Plus. If your salary goes through their honored bank, it's an absolutely great thing because the Payday Plus has been designed just for you. If you have pressing needs to meet and it's not time for payday, they can give you up to 10,000 cedis or 80% of your next net monthly salary. Remember, there's no interest on repayment within 30 days. Your money hits your account the same day. If this is something you are interested in, call Meredith on 0243273369 or now on 0244284197. ADB, truly a Greek and more. My business sense today comes from the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who says time is neutral and does not change things. With courage and initiative, leaders change things. Time is neutral and does not change things. With courage and initiative, leaders change things. So if you sit down and fold your arms, nothing will get done because time doesn't change anything. What changes things is courage and initiative. What changes things are two things. The things that change the situation will be two things: courage and initiative. The courage to face the situation, to accept the circumstance, man up and face it, and the initiative to find solutions, ideas, ways of getting around that challenge. That's when things change. So as we begin today, let's think about the two things that can change things: courage and initiative. As for time, it's very neutral and it will not change anything. That's our business sense for the morning, proudly brought to us by ADB. ADB, truly a Greek and more. Coming up next is the newspaper review. This is the Citi Breakfast Show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
The Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. Why would you want...
wako Okrofia Epwano wako Bachano waye Eyano woyo Ebe yamafu Wama yefa yetimbo me Wama yesa yeseme Wama yesa ekuriyo Amadachi Yemeneche yeyo Yemenya sitapa Amaneja wakunte Nyamesha wano Gana sasi Nyamesha do Yawa sasi Yawa nyimba Yawa bibiara Yawa sika futro Yawa koko Eti munyano Wama yefa yetimbo Wama yesa yeseme Wama yesa ekuriyo
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Time check is 6:30. Coming up next is the newspaper review brought to us by Quartz Engine Oil, designed with age resistance technology and can protect your engine against mechanical wear by up to 74%, even under the most extreme temperature. If you're choosing Quartz from Total Energies, you're choosing the engine oil that keeps your engine running efficiently and younger for longer. And Fidelity Bank is also bringing us the newspaper review. The Fidelity Sikaboom promo is here. You can win 100,000 cedis in the grand draw. All you have to do is deposit and maintain 300 cedis in your account between now and the end of the promo period, which is in February 2023, and you could win big. Fidelity Bank, believe with us. And the newspaper review is also brought to us by Kel Kids. Kel Kids, happy smile. Let me welcome the guys. Caleb Koda and Godfred Akoto Boafo are here with me. Guys, good morning. How are we doing?
Good morning, Nathan.
Yeah.
All right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tuesday. Not a lot of good news, but
I see.
We'll try and lighten it up.
Okay.
We'll try and lighten it up. Anyway, let me take it to the front page of the Daily Graphic quickly. Motorway deteriorates. I told you, not a lot of good news. Motorway deteriorates. Patched portions rot away. The Daily Graphic spent a month monitoring the motorway, and they brought some images of portions of the motorway. Kester Brown Crunchy, good work. Akufo-Addo, Sunak launch forest and climate leaders partnership. Be moderate in expenditure. Press be moderator to government. Regional minister backtracks on Ramsar site demolitions.
Ghanaian Times, demand for termination of appointment of new GSDG. Pre-tertiary teachers abandon classrooms nationwide. Latif assault case yet to commence after 5 years. Stories on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times. And at COP27 summit, Ghana committed to increasing share of renewable energy. President Akufo-Addo is speaking, and private industries call for introduction of import license policy.
Front page of the Business Analyst, more doctors want to leave Ghana. Survey reveals. Value assets that protect investors. SEC directs market operators, and Data Bank also dismisses panic withdrawal reports.
The Chronicle, the injustices in IMF's $650 billion bailout. Ghana receives only $1.07 billion. This is according to ISODEC. And leadership is about empathy, Mr. President. Akufo-Addo says Ghana is targeting renewable energy. Gunmen had wanted to assassinate our Win Omanhene. Secretary says so. And Isaiah 10:1. Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees.
Front page of the Graphic Business, finally from me, Nathan. Use ruthless approach to stabilize economy. Former IMF advisor. Domestic airlines fail to cash in on Hugbechocho Festival. SEC directive not for haircut. Reverend Ogbami Tete, that's the SEC boss.
The final newspaper, Akufo-Addo Sunak launched Forest and Climate Leaders Partnership. Ghana committed to increasing share of renewable energy. Access Bank builds capacity of SMEs to utilize digitalization. And the big one, CD fall, rising cost, collapsing newspapers. Over 600% price increase of some inputs since January.
Okay, if you go online, citynewsroom.com, a number of stories there. Ride-hailing app drivers threaten to charge their own fares. So those who use the ride-hailing apps, be ready, because all kinds of funny things.
But then we just take taxi, because then you become a taxi. No, I'm not saying, if you are ride-hailing app, and you say I charge your own fare, then you are a taxi. So
Yesterday, one was like he's taking 60 from Circle to somewhere.
Anyway,
Ride-hailing.
well, other stories: teachers ambushing school kids with unfair strike. That's according to Apenyo Marking. Okay, he's the majority, the deputy majority leader. In Kwabibem, crime rates increasing over exchange of cocoa farms for galamsey. So that's also one thing we need to keep an eye on. Staying in Kwabibem, cocoa farms there are being or have been turned into galamsey pits. Okay,
Serious.
Ajosafo is telling Dom Kwabinya residents, "I'll continue to be your MP." And Broja James says, "Shoot against." Godfred, why?
The way you read it, like, I'll continue to be your MP.
I'll continue to be your MP. Alright. Anyway, a suit against Tolong MP not to enhance my political ambition. That is what is going on there. And meeting between government and striking teachers union ends inconclusively again. So that is also there as well. Plus, keep schools open despite strike by teachers, GES to headmasters. If you go to citybusinessnews.com, 39 new free zones companies to inject $230 million into economy. That's also there. If you go to myjoyonline.com, I expect a cut in government appointees, Professor Peter Korte, on the 2023 budget. Minority leadership whips its 136 MPs for vote of censure on November 10. NDC youth activists want Supreme Court to declare second majority whip seat vacant over fraud allegations. Okay, and we are collating signatures to petition Parliament to impeach Akufo-Addo. Martin Pebu is speaking. If you go to starfm.com.gh, Bulldog sues Shatawale. So looks like they have their own thing going on there. Kokoball trial step down. Opuni to retire Justice Honyanuga. And on the booing incident from over the weekend, political scientists fault Baumia's handlers. Okay, and if you go international, U.S. Congress, this is on the BBC's homepage, U.S. Congress at stake as Americans vote in midterms, and Ukraine is reasoned to act fast on climate. That's according to the British PM Rishi Sunak. And notorious Instagram influencer jailed for fraud. So the FBI is talking about Hush Puppy, and they describe him as one of the world's most high-profile money launderers.
How many years did you get?
I'll give you that in
Okay.
when we
Anyway,
get
let me start from climate and environment. A lot of stories today in the Daily Graphic around that because we are COP27 discussing a lot of things. So I'll start from page 5 of the Daily Graphic. COP27 underway with emphasis on African nations. Envoys from around the globe gathered on Sunday in the Egyptian coastal resort of Sharm el-Sheikh for talks on tackling climate change amid a multitude of competing crises, including the war in Ukraine, high inflation, food shortages, and an energy crunch. COP27 is being branded an African COP, where the positions of African countries on issues such as finance for adapting to climate change or adopting renewable energy sources will be central to the talks. Now, if you go to page 20 of the same paper, the president, Akufo-Addo, he's there, and he's been meeting with the UK Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, and they've launched what is called the Forest and Climate Leaders Partnership.
Okay.
Yes. This is a new political forum that brings together governments and partners to work together to implement solutions that reduce forest loss, increase restoration, and support sustainable development. Staying with that theme, if you go to page 38 of the same newspaper, developing countries demand climate justice funds at COP27. And the African voice is led by one of the key voices. There's the president of Senegal, who said it was unacceptable for Africa to always remain in the position of those who paid the price for pollution caused by others. Quote, Africa is not a highly industrialized continent, and therefore global warming is not our fault. And all African countries together cause no more than 4% of the global emissions of carbon dioxide. He called on leaders in Africa to remain united and speak with a common voice to ensure that the continent receives the required support to tackle climate change issues. And then there's an opinion piece,
Yes.
Page 44, Climate Change Risk is Water Security Risk, by Dr. Bob Mantiao, a senior research fellow for the Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, University of Ghana, Legon. And just a snippet of what he's saying, he says, the reality, however, remains that not a lot of effort has gone into the science of climate change impact manifestation in Ghana to understand the nature of impacts, especially as it relates to water resources.
Talking about water, one thing that affects water is illegal mining. Now, if you go to Kwabebrim, for example, cocoa farms there have been left with large pits by illegal small-scale miners. Residents said unknown persons came from outside the community to prospect and eventually destroy the land with their illegal mining activity. Some of the pits in the area had been left open for up to 8 years. Despite the government's rhetoric in the fight against illegal miners were still at work in this particular district. Now, if you go to citynewsroom.com, that's where I'm reading the story from. There are so many pictures, aerial shots, up close shots of excavators. Some of the pits are open. Really, really, really tragic stuff happening in those areas. And you can find the cocoa farms have been devastated, and the water is just snaking its way through the various parts of
been
these
blocked
farms.
actually by the activities of the illegal miners.
It's not looking good at all.
While our leaders at COP27 making promises on climate and all, here in Accra, RegSeg suspends Ramsar site demolition for further engagement. Story by Ken Afeji, and he says the Greater Accra Regional Security Council, RegSeg, has suspended a planned demolition exercise at the Ramsar site to allow further engagement with stakeholders to draw a roadmap for the reclamation of the encroached portions of the site. The meeting held on Sunday was to regularize properties in the enclave to ensure that residents do not evade their tax obligations, such as property rates. It is recalled that last month the RegSec supervised the demolition of fence walls that were built in the core areas of the Ramsar site and was set to demolish all illegal buildings on the site in the second phase. This was scheduled to take place after a team of intergovernmental agencies was tasked to take inventory of all illegal buildings and submit the report to the RegSec. But the regional minister, Mr. Henry Korte, told a gathering of chiefs, residents, and chief executives of Tema West and Tema Metropolitan Assemblies that no single building would be demolished until a clear roadmap was fashioned out. He stated that such stakeholders' engagements would be held again in 3 weeks' time to go through rigorous processes for a win-win situation for all.
Let me take you to page 3 of the Business Analyst. Let's talk some money. And doctors want more money. And doctors want to leave Ghana. President of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Frank Sirboas, revealed that per a survey conducted by the association, most Ghanaian doctors are considering leaving the country. Now, they did the survey amongst 260 medical doctors, and 90% of them said they want to leave. The reason for which the doctors have leave include the search for better income, improved working living conditions, better life in schools for their children, and opportunities for further education.
Godfred, the Citi fall, rising cost, collapsing newspaper. Story by Elvis Darko. This is the Finder newspaper, and it says the rapid depreciation of the city, rising prices of raw materials by production, freight, logistics, and procurement costs from the beginning to the end process have led to dramatic rise in the price of printing materials such as paper, ink, film, and plate, among others. Unprecedented escalation. It has inputs imported. The newspaper industry is feeling the pinch very hard because all the inputs in producing newspapers are imported. Impact of the city. The city, which has lost over 50% of its value since the beginning of the year, has made inputs for newspaper production, which are all imported, ridiculously expensive. He talks about the decline in advert revenue, the print media grappling with financial difficulties, 579% rise in the price of 80-gram bond paper, and it goes on and on to tell you how all these factors are affecting the cost of the city. So if you don't hear your favorite newspaper if you've not been hearing us review your favorite newspaper, probably, in fact, they are feeling the pinch of the economy.
Well, they are not the only ones feeling the pinch. Online drivers are doing so. The National Secretariat for Online Drivers, this story is on citinewsroom.com, has threatened to charge passengers based on their discretion rather than the fee given by the apps. Drivers say the move has become necessary as the charges allocated by the app managers are inadequate to meet the rising cost of fuel. The online drivers have in the past called on their managers to adjust prices upwards to cushion them, but to no avail. The General Secretary for the National Secretariat of Online Drivers, Alex Okine, said drivers were incurring losses at the current rate, hence the Operation Charge Your Own Fare. Okay, so that's what they are up to now, Operation Charge Your Own Fare. Now, if you stay on citinewsroom.com, a joint report by the University of Ghana Business School and the University of Oxford says ride-hailing drivers and delivery workers have been at the mercy of Ghana's unbridled rise in inflation. The report says drivers and delivery workers on the various online platforms struggle to make ends meet as they struggle with everyday expenses and work longer hours to maintain a decent standard of life. It also revealed that many of these workers had to switch between 2 or 3 platforms to work extra hours to be able to pay for their everyday expenses, as well as put food on the table for their families and provide a roof over their heads. The report, which is a second of its kind by the Fair Work Ghana project, evaluated 10 platforms, including the Black Ride, Glovo, Swift Wheels, Bolt, Uber, Jumia Food, Bolt Food, InDriver, Phoenix, and Yango, and scored Ghana between 0 and 5 out of 10. So that's a bit of something for everybody to chew on.
Let me take you to the graphic business on page 23. The SEC is speaking. Those of you who have investments, listen. SEC directive not for haircut. And this coming from the SEC boss, Reverend Daniel Ogbami Tete. And he's saying that the new directives are to ensure that portfolios reflect market values as well as investors of collective investment schemes. Quote, this is not a new valuation methodology. It's something that some of the market operators have been practicing, and we gave this directive because we want some uniformity in the marketplace. What the directive means is that if you're already using that methodology to value your stocks in your portfolio, you have your quantity versus the price. So what it means is that you want to see the market value of those securities that you have in your portfolio. Now, SEC directed fund managers and custodians and trustees to use fair value market to market valuation method in valuing portfolios. This caused a bit of a scare in the market, but he says, don't panic.
Okay.
Don't panic.
Talking about that, Reverend Obama will be on the show later this morning. So we can ask him all the questions.
Nice.
And so our listeners can, note their questions, signpost that, and then at around 9 a.m. he will be in to answer all the questions.
Investors.
Yes.
Pay attention.
Now, Nathan, in Ketia Ofusuampo for contest, NDC needs to redefine the future it believes in. This is attributed to Agumenu. He's a former special assistant to the late former President Jerry John Rawlings. Donald Senanu Agumenu is his full name, and he says that the NDC needs at this moment to redefine the future the party believes in and cut a robust governance framework for national development. Regarding the upcoming contest between Johnson Asiedu Nketia and Samuel Ofosu Ampofo for the national chairmanship of the NDC, he said when two products are good for a competitive market, the dynamics of the market forces would either reposition one or necessitate a person to re-examine some exceptional qualities of the two. In the event, he said one would appreciate the unique selling proposition of each and decide on which one could be your star brand with a competitive edge to lead the market. Quote, the interesting thing is that I don't only understand this, but equally appreciate it from the perspective of President Rawlings on General Asiedu Nketia and Chairman Ampofo, he said in a write-up. Dr. Donald Agumenu added that we are on a complex path that needs a bold decision to distinguish the brand we need at this challenging moment to redefine the future we believe in as a party and cut a robust governance framework for national development.
Okay, let's go to Parliament, right? I'm going to give you two stories. One is on citinewsroom.com. The other is on my Joy Online. newsroom.com. So the majority in parliament, this is from myjournalline.com. The majority in parliament says it is considering dragging the Speaker of the House to the Supreme Court over his ruling on the Domkabinya MP Sarah Adjoa Safo. According to the majority leader, Osei Chimensa-Bulsu, the ruling was, quote, unfortunate, end quote, saying the Speaker may have misinterpreted the law. Now, he told Joy News that, quote, if we lend ourselves by what I consider to be a very capricious ruling, then the Supreme Court would be the final arbiter. But if you go to citinewsroom.com, MP Adjoa Safo is here. She's saying that, okay, she has expressed a desire to remain in Parliament as she faces removal from the House. She was speaking at the Pentecost Church at Taifa on Sunday, and she said that God had helped her family and Taifa was where she belonged. And she says, quote, or she said, quote, I know I'll be back and I'll continue to be your member of Parliament, end quote. Now, the MP has been under fire for her continuous absence from the country, and she has been living in the US this past year, requested for leave of absence in 2021 from her then ministerial post as the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection. So that's the lowdown from that quarter.
Let me give you two stories from two churches, the Presbyterian Church and the Church of Pentecost. On page 16 of the Daily Graphic, be moderate in expenditure. That's the Presby moderator speaking to the government, Right Reverend Professor Joseph Obriya-Boa. He has cautioned the government to strive to spend within its means. That, he said, was necessary given the prevailing economic hardships in the country. He was speaking at the centenary Thanksgiving service of the Asante Presbytery at the Jubilee Park in Kumasi. On page 18, the Church of Pentecost is defending its 3-day prayer and fasting to fix the economy. The church issued a circular last Friday to announce the fasting and prayers, but has since courted a lot of public reaction, especially on social media. While others are criticizing the church for declining the fasting and prayers for the nation, others have hailed the church for that decision. And the General Secretary of the church, Apostle Alexander Nanaya Kumilabi, he has defended the decision. He said the church saw nothing wrong with that as its responsibility, and that of all Christians, as its responsibility and that of all Christians, to pray for their nation and their leaders.
Scripture says, seek the peace of the land into which I have sent you to exile. For when they prosper, you too shall prosper. Hallelujah. Amen. Let me end on this one. Ghanaian Times, page 3. Latif assault case yet to commence after 5 years. Story by Abigail Ano. Nearly 5 years after multimedia journalist Latif Idrisu was allegedly assaulted by policemen, leaving him with a severely fractured skull. Hearing on the case is yet to officially begin. The award-winning journalist on March 27, 2018 suffered police brutality in the course of covering a protest by some National Democratic NDC, National Democratic Congress NDC members following the arrest of its then Deputy General Secretary Samuel Koku Anyedoho. Details on page number 3 of the Ghanaian Times. 5 years on, case is yet to start.
And I will end with the Daily Graphics front page. Motorway deteriorates. Kester Bram Crunchy and his team have done some solid work there, and they're saying that 2 years after the Daily Graphic began to highlight the deteriorating state of the 56-year-old motorway, potholes, bitumen patches, erosion and hardened lumps from spilled concrete are still posing a danger and discomfort to drivers and passengers who commute on the road on a daily basis. While the Temakra stretch remains the more deplorable, the portion around the Shaiman toll booth where transit tracks park on the shoulders sometimes for hours has been destroyed by potholes, while erosion has also eaten into the edges. And they also say on 4 occasions while monitoring activities, they've witnessed accidents. They've seen the speed radar as well. That has been installed by the National Road Safety Authority. Now, they've been chasing the minister for some responses on this. A Deputy Minister of Roads and Highways, Stephen Pambin Jalula, told the Daily Graphic last year that the government was in the process of awarding a contract for the reconstruction of the motorway and the dualization of some highways across the country. So you can get the Daily Graphic for that extensive
This
report.
is good. You know, the Buzia Highway I've been complaining about. Some work has been done. I mean, proper work, but there's more to be done.
More.
So, yeah.
Okay, let's just end with 2 international stories. One that says the war in Ukraine is a reason to act faster to tackle climate change. That's according to Rishi Sunak, UK PM.
Right.
And he said this at the UN Climate Summit COP27 in Egypt. Now, key topics are compensation and support for the most affected countries, and Rishi Sunak said climate and energy security go hand in hand. And he says, quote, Putin's abhorrent war in Ukraine and rising energy prices across the world are not a reason to go slow on climate change. They are a reason to act faster. End quote. And then the other international story has to do with Hush Puppy. Now, a notorious Instagram influencer from Nigeria, Hush Puppy, aka Ramon Abbas. Okay, now he has been jailed for more than 11 years in the US for his role in an international fraud syndicate. Now, a judge in Los Angeles also ordered him to pay $1.7 million in restitution to 2 fraud victims. Abbas will serve his sentence of 135 months in a federal prison. Last year, he pleaded guilty to money laundering, and he also admitted to attempting to steal more than $1.1 million from someone who wanted to fund a new children's school in Qatar. That's according to court documents in California. So that's the lowdown on Hush Puppy, who has been jailed in the US of A.
And just one story that caught my attention from the graphic business on domestic airlines failed to cash in on Hugbachuchu Festival, and goes on to explain why perhaps it was not such a good idea to put an airport in Ho, considering the fact that it's very close to Accra. A lot of people decided to go by road. The 2 airlines that decided to work on that route, Passion Air and Africa Airlines, all gave up because they're not making the numbers. So according to the story by McLean Kofi, the development has left the $25 million facility idle, with fears that the continuous soaring of crude oil prices to direct impact on aviation fuel prices could gradually turn it into a white elephant for a region awash with tourist sites in the country seeking greater gains from tourism. So perhaps they might need to reconsider the business model.
Yeah, the conversation of making it an aviation school, something like that.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Godfred. Thank you, Caleb. That was a newspaper review. Coming up next is the Citi Business News.
Up next, we asked some Ghanaians what they would do if they were blessed with 100,000 Ghana cedis.
Coming up next is the Citi Business News. Now, do people still hear that dull caller tone when they call you? MTN wants you to know that you can still bring some life to your caller ringback tone with some of your favorite songs if you enjoy high life, hip hop, hip life, or gospel. All you have to do is dial *1355# to choose from a wide range of music options, and that's it. Everyone who calls you gets to listen and dance to your favorite songs too. Get a dope caller ringback tone today and enjoy life only on MTN. Access Bank is bringing us the Citi Business News, and they've bought the Access Bank triple salary promo. Switch your salary account to Access Bank's Empower Salary account today and automatically enjoy free interest on payday loan, pick now, pay later loans, fly now, pay later loans, and other personal loans. And you can enjoy all of that up until 30th April 2023. T's and C's apply. Visit any of Access Bank's 53 branches across Ghana or visit ghana.accessbankplc.com to get started. Access Bank, more than banking. And the business news is also brought to us by Goil, good energy, Goil, Yaya Diem, and Enterprise Life. Enterprise Life is your advantage. Let's get the latest from Netili Neti.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil, Enterprise Life, your advantage, Access Bank, more than banking, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Netili Neti Ajaho. Coming up, stakeholders in the construction industry laments the impact of the depreciating cedi on the prices of building materials and the cost of doing business, and about $230 million to be injected into the economy from 39 newly licensed companies. This is according to the Ghana Free Zones Authority. To the stories now. The Ghana Free Zones Authority has revealed that it expects about $230 million to be injected into the economy from 39 newly licensed companies by the authority. This comes as the country is currently grappling with a balance of trade deficit and the depreciation of the local currency. The 39 new free zones companies which were licensed to operate within the last year and a half are also expected to bring in about $529 million by way of export earnings. Speaking during the launch of the 2022 Investment Week, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, Ambassador Michael Okoye Jr., noted that it is critical that Ghana increases its exports to earn the needed foreign exchange and stabilize the free fall of the cedi.
39 new companies have been licensed since I took over as Chief Executive Officer. The usual annual average has been around 28. These companies are expected to inject an estimated capital of 230 million United States dollars into the economy. In addition, the estimated export earnings from the 39 companies is $529 million, an estimated production value of 436 million United States dollars. The cumulative exports from the free zones enterprises since the program's inception stood at 27 billion United States dollars as at 2020. Currently, the total number of active companies is 217. Out of the 217 active companies, 72 are wholly Ghanaian-owned companies, representing 33%. 74 are wholly foreign-owned companies, representing 34%, and 71 are joint ventures, representing 33%.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, Ambassador Michael Okoye Jr. Stakeholders in the construction industry are bemoaning the prices of building materials in the last few months. Prices of cement have seen an increase of over 35% in the last 40 days. Traders of some of these materials blame the price hikes on the free fall of the cedi. They lament it is woefully affecting their business. There's more in the following report filed by Citi News' Emmanuel Opong and read by Sixtus Dong Ulu.
Following the free fall of the Ghanaian cedi, many groups and individuals have expressed concern over the development and how it is impacting their lives and businesses. The local currency has experienced about 50% depreciation, trading at about 13 Ghana cedis to the dollar, despite commencing the year at about 6.5 Ghana cedis for a dollar. Today, we shift our attention to how the depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi is impacting the construction industry. According to the 2022 budget statement released in November 2021, the construction sector expanded by 8.2% year-on-year in the first 6 months of 2021, but are the narratives same as the cedi is currently reported to be the worst performing currency on the continent. A visit to some trading avenues confirmed the doubling of the cost of building materials. Traders in the Central Business District in Accra tell Citi News that the high cost of materials affects their businesses.
Let's talk about even 1 week ago. We were selling roofing sheet at 600. That is galvanized star at 600. We were selling aluminum at 1,700. Alusing was 700. Now alusing have jumped from 700 to 1,200. Galvanized have jumped from 600 to 1,000. Aluminum have jumped from 1,700 to 2,600, which is too much. When you come to Cantonment, you see that the whole place is quiet. Nothing is going on. Anybody that entered the shop and asked the price, he turned back. I've never seen it.
The turnout, as in this time, is very poor due to the prices increase. Previously, for the iron rods, the ton was 6,700. Now it's 9,000. You can imagine the price increase. This, they're not buying. We just come to market, we sit down, then we go home.
The Ghana Real Estate Developers Association shared their thoughts on how the situation is equally impacting.
It is affecting us at various levels. The difficulty with us is that we are in the business of producing something that cannot be done overnight. You need time. You start a project and it can take you years to finish. It could take you months, depending on the magnitude of the project. It can take you years. It can even take a whole term of government. So when you are saddled with this huge, rampant depreciation of our currency, it is almost beyond management.
That was Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, Sami Amegaibo, ending that report filed by Emmanuel Opong and read by Sixtus Dong Ulu. The Online Drivers Union is calling for an increase in their fares to commensurate with the increment in fuel prices. Fuel prices have hit an all-time high, in some cases increasing by over 200% since the start of the year. Although the ride-hailing hub companies reviewed their rates upwards, the drivers insist it isn't enough to mitigate the current economic situation in the country. Speaking to Citi Business News, President of the Online Drivers Union, Francis Tenge, believes their call is critical to sustaining their livelihoods.
As for that one, we've heard it several times. The government cannot do anything about it. But what we need is there should be a corresponding increment in the base fare for we the drivers should also survive. At the end of the day, we have families to take care of. We have bills to pay. We have expenses to actually meet. So when initially, should I drive and make a gross earning of 400 Ghana cedis, I was buying fuel between 150 and 200. Now I'm buying fuel of 300 Ghana cedis. Out of the 400, I'm left with 100 Ghana cedis. And then I'm paying a service fee of 100 Ghana cedis to Bolt and then 80 Ghana cedis to Uber, which is 20% and then 25% respectively. I don't know what is left. That means the driver will have to work for several hours, a young guy, and it's not safe. I mean, drivers are driving tired and it's not safe.
He further called on government to regulate the activities of ride-hailing companies to protect their interests.
So for us to actually survive, that is why the government have to come on board. For us, it's lucky. It's safe for us to be regulated or to be controlled because of our database. I mean, we can actually be controlled and regularized because of the uniqueness of our job. The government should intervene for us and then bargain with the pricing. The same way when there is the DPRT and the Minister from Transport meet to negotiate pricing, It's unfortunate in this country, they are aware of our existence, but nobody will call for us in a meeting. Nobody will engage the app companies in a meeting. Should we go on the street and do something and they will say we are not law abiding? But just last week, there was a meeting and we were left out.
That was the president of the Online Drivers Union, Francis Tingi. Now let's check how some major currencies are faring. On the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar gained 2 pesos and is selling at 13 cedis 2 pesos. The British pound gained 22 pesos and is selling at 14 cedis 92 pesos. The euro gained 11 pesos and is selling at 13 cedis. However, at some forex bureaus within the capital, the dollar is selling at 14 cedis 5 pesos. The British pound is selling at 15 cedis 8 pesos and the euro is selling at 14 cedis. Let's now join Gideon Amwiniche of Data Bank for the latest updates on the bonds market.
Last week, the Ghanaian Treasury raised 1.24 billion Ghana cedis for the 91-day to the 364-day bills. The amount raised covered 94% of the auction target, but exceeded the refinancing obligation by 16%. Yields went up across the curve, with the 91-day yield at 33.34%, the 182-day yield at 34.85%, and the 364-day yield at 34.80%. Trading activity on the Ghanaian secondary bond market slowed down as tight liquidity conditions constrained demand. Total face value traded amounted to 3.58 billion Ghana cedis, reflecting a 24% week-on-week decline. The Data Bond Index remained relatively stable, reflecting a year-to-date loss of 21.57%.
That was Gideon Amwiniche of Data Bank. And that does it for the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil and Enterprise Life Your Advantage, Access Bank, More Than Banking, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Nette Ajaho. Have a good business day.
A rise it me. A rise it increment in my salary. This is all I...
City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
(7:14). Up next is kickoff. The latest from the world of sport, brought to us by Lecheho. Have you updated your records with Lecheho? If not, what are you waiting for? Get to your nearest Lecheho branch today and update your record. So your Ghana card is in their system. The Ghana card is now the only accepted ID for financial transactions. Send them a WhatsApp message on 0574 065958 or 0302 208 333. Lecheho, let's improve lives. Daniel Cranting is here. He's got the latest from the world of sports.
Hi, Nathan.
Hello. Hello, Danny. How are you doing?
I'm very good. In the headlines, Great Olympics, they move up to third in the Bet Power Premier League table. Liverpool had drawn against Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League round of 16, while it's Barcelona versus Manchester United in the Europa League playoff round. Roberto Firmino dropped from the Brazil World Cup squad despite his impressive start to the season. Let's begin with the Bet Power Premier League, where Accra Great Olympics moved up to third on the league log after beating Midiama 1-0 yesterday in a matchday 5 encounter at the Accra Sports Stadium. Yusuf Abdul Razak scored the only goal of the game in the 80th minute to secure all 3 points for his side. Speaking after the game, head coach for Great Olympics, Yao Preko, was pleased with the impact of his substitutes.
In the beginning, we didn't start very well. We played against a very good side. I know Mediama, they will come here, they will control the face of the game. It was a bit scrappy in the first half. They control majority of where we have a couple of chances where we should have buried it. But I told them if we keep on missing chances, gradually they will gain confidence and they will start control, because we know they have a good trainer, so they will start controlling the face of the game. Fortunate, first half it ended up 0-0-0. Then when we went back to the drawing board, I decided to make some changes and some positional changes as well. And as usual, like always, the bench always help, and they did the magic for us.
Yao Preko is head coach for Accra Great Olympics. Meanwhile, Midiama head coach David Duncan says he was satisfied with the performance of his players despite the defeat.
It was a cagey game. I mean, we never in our wildest imagination considered the fact that we were coming up against a team that we could run over. So in the first half, we tried as much as possible to stay in the game for as long as it lasted, and perhaps, take our chances if it came up, and we're trying to operate most of the time from the wide areas where we knew Olympics were a little bit vulnerable because they played 3 at the back. So, and I think that a couple of times, we caught them on the back foot.
David Duncan is head coach for Midiama Sporting Club. Moving on, Accra Heart of Oak head coach Slavko Matic believes the team needs more time to adapt to his ideas and philosophy. The Phobians have for the first time this season won back-to-back games in the Bet Power Premier League under Matic and have now moved up to 6th on the league log. Matic, however, believes there's still more time and more work to be done.
I think what my team can do, this is 6.5. We must more. We need time. It's not easy, but important attitude of the players. He worked very serious, and now we have 2 national team players who make with us only 1 training. It's not easy to make a compact team, but we should continue to work. We must work harder, and our club, our players must play much better, and we will play better.
Hearts of Oak head coach Slavko Matic. Still with the Bet Power Premier League, Summertex head coach Anna Walker has blamed the lack of experience for his team's struggles this season. The Summerboy-based club are yet to win a game and are just above the relegation zone with 4 points from 5 games.
I need to beef up the team with, I would say, experienced or mature players. A bit like if I should have players who are also matured, who have tasted Premiership before, they would have also helped. So I believe we've not played badly for the 5 matches that we played. It's just unfortunate that we can't win, or we've lost a match today.
Anna Walker is the head coach for Summertex. Former Black Star striker Augustin Ahimfo has urged Ghanaians to throw their weight behind the country's goalkeepers ahead of the FIFA World Cup. There have been some questions about whether head coach Otto Addo should make Joseph Wollacott or Richard Ofori the Black Stars' #1 shot stopper for the tournament in Qatar. However, Ahimfo is of the opinion that with the right mindset, anyone who's chosen to guard Ghana's goal can do well.
For one is Wollacott. For now. Okay. For now, yes. Yeah. Because I think apart from the last friendly match we played against Nicaragua when Ofori played, all the matches that we played, Ron has been in goal. And the one in Belgium is also not bad. Madame is not bad at all. But once again, it's up to because those are the goalkeepers we have. Danladi is doing well. Yeah. But locally, can he translate that into the top World Cup, the ultimate? Can he? It's another question for us to answer. But for now, these are the goalkeepers we have. We don't have the Oliles or the Samir Jays now. We have these ones. Let's have the belief in them that with the proper mindset and setup, they are capable of delivering.
That was former Black Star striker Augustine Ahimfo speaking there. It's now time to get into our World Cup Fact Series today in Qatar. Evans Ofochu Manso puts the focus on Ghana's previous coaches at the World Cup.
Welcome to Today in Qatar. Rato Medjikovic is the first coach to qualify Ghana for the World Cup in 2006. The Serbian coach took over the Black Stars in 2004. He led Ghana to the round of 16 in the team's first appearance at the World Cup in Germany. The second coach to take Ghana to the World Cup is Milovan Rajvac in 2010. Also from Serbia, Coach Milo was appointed in 2008. His tenure saw Ghana's most successful World Cup campaign as the team reached the quarter-final, losing to Uruguay on penalties. James Kwesiapia is the third coach to qualify Ghana for the World Cup. He was appointed in 2012 and was the first Ghanaian to coach the Black Stars at the tournament in 2014. Unfortunately, that was Ghana's most disappointing campaign as the team exited at the group stage.
That was Evans Ofochu Manso with today's episode of Today in Qatar. Now, Liverpool have drawn holders Real Madrid in the last 16 of the UEFA Champions League in a repeat of last season's finals. Premier League champions Manchester City will face German side RB Leipzig, while Tottenham will face Italian giants AC Milan. Chelsea have also drawn German opposition in Borussia Dortmund. Elsewhere, French champions PSG have drawn against Bayern Munich. The full draw will see RB Leipzig take on Manchester City. Club Brugge will take on Benfica. Liverpool will take on Real Madrid. AC Milan will face Tottenham Hotspur. Frankfurt will take on Napoli. Borussia Dortmund will take on Chelsea. Inter Milan versus Porto. And PSG versus Bayern Munich. Elsewhere in the Europa League, Barcelona manager Xavi Hernandez has described his side's draw against Manchester United in the Europa League knockout playoff as tough. Xavi's side dropped into the competition after finishing third in their Champions League group, while Manchester United lost out to top spot in the group stages to Real Sociedad.
We will have to compete, going to Manchester against a really top rival, an historic side that has grown a lot with the arrival of Ten Hag, with great individual players. And yes, it has been the toughest rival once again in the Europa League. They have really good players. They have a great group. Ten Hag is doing a fantastic job in Manchester. We will have time to analyze it, but they are a strong side in defense and in attack, not just for Cristiano Ronaldo or other players. Manchester United are a historic club, and they also need to win. Two big teams, and that's going to be a massive time.
That was Barcelona manager Xavi Hernandez. A full draw will see Barcelona, of course, taking on Manchester United. Juventus versus Nantes. Sporting Lisbon will take on Midtjylland. Shakhtar Donetsk will take on Rennes. Ajax have been paired against Union Berlin. Bayer Leverkusen will take on Monaco. Sevilla versus PSV Eindhoven. And RFC Salzburg will take on AS Roma. Now, Arsenal's Gabriel Martinelli has been named in Brazil's 26-man squad for the FIFA World Cup in place of forward Roberto Firmino, with Gabriel Jesus, Richarlison and Antony also called up. Brazil head coach Tite named the 26-man squad for the Qatar tournament yesterday, with Firmino the most noticeable absentee in place of Martinelli, who has only 3 caps for his country and has not been picked for Brazil since June. Jesus had been left out of Brazil's last friendly games against Tunisia and Ghana, but has now been recalled. He joins the likes of Casemiro, Fred, Fabinho, Bruno Guimaraes and Lucas Paqueta as the Premier League players who've been called up. Premier League goalkeepers in Alisson and Ederson of Liverpool and Manchester City respectively have also been called up alongside Thiago Silva of Chelsea. And that brings an end here to kick off on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Daniel Cranting. For more sports news, this is citysportsonline.com. Kickoff was brought to you by the Sheho.
Trust the process. The biggest things often start small.
Messages are welcome on 0549 986 996. Tuesday, the 8th of November. Few birthday messages coming in. Happy birthday to Mr. Alex Owusu, the best dad in the world. Thank you for being that bulwark we can always lean on. We love you. That's from Amos and Junior. This one says, to Marian Anane of EcoBank, on the occasion of your birthday, I would love to say how lucky we are to have you in our lives. You have been an amazing wife and mother. You have been good to me in so many ways I just can't express. Message coming from Kwame Anani and Papa Kwesi.
And I want to give a special shout out to all old students of Navasco. You know Navasco?
Okay.
So the Navrongo Senior High School, they held their speech and prize giving day over the weekend. And one of my mentors, Amidu Tanko, was the guest speaker at the event. And Amidu Tanko is an old student of Navasco, he's the executive director of Star Ghana Foundation.
Yeah.
And Navasco has produced some of the very, very good leaders we have. Haruna Idris went to Navasco.
Okay.
There are quite a number of them in the system. And he's also the president of the Accra branch of Old Navascans.
I see.
So if you went to Navrongo Secondary School, please, Ghanaian Times page 23, your story is there. Very, very exciting times indeed for Navascans.
All right, this one says, belated happy birthday to Na Kwale of the Public Affairs Unit at the Ministry of Railway Development. And this one says, happy birthday, Stephen Nana Mponsa, CEO of Oduma Solutions. Welcome to the 4th floor. Every moment of your life has been an expression of brilliance, dedication, and commitment. The message is coming from Nana Yao Debra.
For you.
Yeah.
How are people building houses in Ghana?
Charlie,
I said, I don't know how. You know, there's a story in the Ghanaian Times today, page 26, about construction industry hit hard by economic hardship.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, a lot of the construction things you do require heavy equipment. So if you are moving, like if you need like an excavator, you need a crusher, or you need to get like trucks to move material.
Yeah.
So like the cost of diesel is really high. And the story is saying that many construction and real estate companies say they are finding it difficult to sustain their businesses in the economic crisis. But what I find surprising is that when I drive around, I still building. So I don't know how they are doing it. It's like if like one day when you're going to the motorway, don't drive, let somebody drive you. And just stand around and be looking at the houses from the Tema to Accra side.
Yeah. People are building.
It's as if they have to finish before Christmas.
Maybe they have some cash. Maybe they have some cash.
I don't know.
Lying down.
Now, let me just read the story. Simon Tete, managing director of Sawe Nano and Sons, who mentioned this to the GNA in an interview, said many companies are either downsizing their workforce or shutting down completely. This is because they are no longer able to cope with the effects of the frequent price hikes of materials needed for their work amid paying their workers. Now, the construction industry is hit hard by the current economic hardships. So, as business people, we are either laying off some of our workers or trying to strategize to break even. Sometimes we record a complete loss on a project. And it starts giving examples. For example, within 4 months, the price of high tensile iron rods moved from about 4,500 cedis to 6,500 cedis to now 8,500. Can you imagine? From July 4,500 to 6,500 by August ending to now 8,500 and now 11,500 in 4 months.
Yep.
That's like 4 to 11 is how much? Almost times 3.
Yeah, almost.
That of cement has moved from 50 cedis, less than 50 cedis a bag, to between 80 cedis. I'll tell you something fun. I was doing a prayer with somebody, and then we decided on the budget. The guy said the cement was 62. This was like a week before. When we sent the money, he said the thing is now 82. 4 days later. Now it's now 85, depending on the area. We are doing a project at Abetifi, and I can tell you that within a week, the price of sand, that was 1,800, moved to 2,500, and now it's 3,100.
Oh, yeah.
per 20 cubic meter truck. The price of a load of chippings also increased over the period from 3,000 to 4,500 and is currently selling at 5,500. Think about it. High tensile iron from 4,500 4 months ago to 11,500. Cement from 50 to 85. Sand 1,800 to 3,100. A load of chippings 3,000 to 5,500. Recently, we checked our books and we realized that the variations alone are over 52% of the contract price. You can imagine that if you are doing a project and such a large percentage of cost must be added, you are in trouble. In view of the high variation in the project, Mr. Tete said most of the works his company was handling has stalled as clients were unable to pay for certificates raised for their works. You know why this is concerning? So a lot of people felt when the city was depreciating that keeping their monies in financial institutions and investments weren't going to help, because like based on the explanation SEC is going to give, your investments may be affected or they are being affected. Now some people were buying USD, but the dollar is getting more expensive. Some people said now we are going to build. Now even the buildings have. So what are you going to do with your money? If you're earning 5,000 cedis in June, that 5,000 cedis is probably 1,000 cedis now.
Yeah.
I feel that some specific sector interventions must be put in place for certain industries. You know, because once fuel prices go up and transport goes up, everything goes up. But you see, when construction industry, because construction is one of the largest employers. I've always said that if one of the ways of revitalizing rural communities is construction projects.
Yeah.
So if you said you're going to do a labor-intensive building project, say you're building a community center, get the young people to work, the multiplier effect of that project, there's going to be lots of people who come and sell food, people who are doing day by day and all of those things. Now, if you can't find a way of getting construction to grow, the economy's growth is going to be seriously stifled. You know, it's one thing for services not to grow, but if an industry as important and labor intensive as construction doesn't grow, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And the levels of price hikes we're seeing in construction, I feel that the Ministry of Works and Housing, working with the Ministry of Finance, must think of some innovative ways of keeping some of the prices down, even if it means having conversations with the cement people or the iron rods guys about what is leading to the cost escalation. Because if building projects, look, I'll tell you something, during COVID, one of the things we noticed was that a lot of people, when they started losing their jobs, were pumping their savings into finishing their houses. So people will move into a 3-bedroom uncompleted house and finish it. Now, that helped to revive the economy. Because once construction is going on, plumbers are getting work, masons are getting work, carpenters are getting work, electricians are getting work. You get my point? People who sell food are getting work. Now, if construction gets depressed, then you're going to be in big trouble. Because the unemployment rate is not very high among artisans. Because there always is something to do. Okay, so if you look at your house, you notice that if you have a water leakage, you get somebody to come in. You have some painting work, electrician, you call Tola, you call some guy to come and do some this thing for you. If those things are not happening, a lot of those guys have family. In fact, I can say about a large chunk of the workforce is in that sector. So this escalation of prices in the construction sector is something that should be very, very concerning to our policymakers beyond the rhetoric. All right, this is just my personal beef.
Yeah, but I asked you this question the other time, like when you know, is there not this matter of prices and the government's position on we can't do anything about it? Really, is that really a position to take on this matter? Because can there not be a point where the government says, okay, let's have a conversation about prices? Because the prices are just the prices are just going.
I think it's because the things that influence the price, they are within the remit of the government. So if you allow diesel to reach 23 cedis a litre and you allow petrol to reach 18 cedis a litre, you can't complain when somebody raises iron rods from 5,000 to 7,000.
Yes.
Do you understand? Or farm gate food transportation. So if two possibilities. If you calculate and say the price build up is 20% fuel, another 10% bad roads, and then maybe another 12% the tariffs at the port. Then if you disaggregate that, then you can say, okay, on the fuel side, let me subsidize. On the road side, let's do this temporary road project to allow. Then on the port side, you can speak to importers and say, we are going to reduce your import duty so you can also pass that through to the customer. But because in Ghana, most people make money because of the ignorance of the person they are selling to.
Yeah.
So the government thinks he's cheating the person importing. The importer is cheating the person buying. The person buying is cheating. So we are all cheating each other. You see. So the conversation has to have government make some concessions. In the situation we are in, you can't call somebody who sells iron rods and say reduce your price if you haven't shown him
what you are doing.
He also say, okay, my container is at the port with some
I'm
stuff,
paying X amount.
And my demurrage or whatever they call it is going up. So there's no solution to any of these problems if the government doesn't come to the table with something.
Which is my concern. Because they haven't come to the table with anything yet.
Because you see, day to day are hot. Day to day need revenue. You see, as I said to you, you are in a tree, you are in a dilemma. You are a trilemma. I'm telling you, if
it's a thing,
you need to raise your revenues.
Yes.
That's why the port they are wild like that. Because he needs money from everywhere. He can't borrow money from anywhere. He needs to cut his expenditure too. All right. So the concession he's going to make, he has to carefully think. And you see, Godfred, for me, these problems are not intractable. It requires deep thinking. Deep thinking, not solutions as usual. When you are in difficult times, you don't depend on the same level of thinking that brought you there. You know, you need deep thinking, scenario planning, and then leadership, where you talk to people, you put your credibility on the line, you appeal to them. That's the kind of thing you need. Because all these industry guys, Charlie, they suffer. To think that iron rods can move from 4,500 to 11,500 from June to now.
Oh, yes.
And it's probably going to get to...
June to now is about 4 or 5 months.
No, but there was
we
had a conversation on construction.
Oh, yeah.
There was a week where it went from 4,200 to by another 1,000 within a week.
It's very serious. Now people are also doing something else because of the cost escalations. People want cash.
Yes.
So that's another problem. So
don't take on credit anymore.
No, because they don't know if you pay. And in fact,
and even when you pay, whether or not it will be enough to get the next consignment in, because
but then it all boils down to the other thing. We don't make a lot of things here.
Yeah.
So a lot of things are not in our control. And for me, I think that's the eternal failure of government. The eternal, because I'm not saying government should go and build iron rods, but Charlie, there are ways you can get people to and you see,
we'll make iron rods here.
Yeah, but the
raw material
is not from here. Okay, I mean, where do we even start? I'm just saying that, look, there are things that in the interim you can do when prices are going up. And that requires some levels of sacrifice and levels of leadership. We are not saying go and set a price for people to sell iron rods. We know it doesn't work. But we are saying if you meet the iron rods people and you let them give you a breakdown of their price build-up, there are at least 1 or 2 parts that you can do something about. Okay, if the trade minister says, okay, if I do this for you at the port, can you also do this for us? Because for me, if we lose construction, if construction stops growing, we are really screwed. Because construction is one of the few industries within the manufacturing sector. See, when you look at the economy, there's agric, there's services, and industry. Industry has 3 parts. It has construction, mining, and the manufacturing. Manufacturing has not grown for a long time.
Construction has been growing.
Construction is what has been saving us. Because most Ghanaians, even if they are hustling, you get the land at Kasua. Weekend, you go and do something. That has helped the economy very much. Now, if that is under threat, then we are in real trouble because everybody wants a place to put their head. So even somebody who's earning a very little amount, somebody can be earning 800,000. It's a driver, he lives at Kasua. You see, no, Charlie, when you have 2 plots to be, when you have 1 plot to be, me starting with 2 bedroom, small, he'll build. That is a very important part of our economy. In fact, if property rights were properly codified, a lot of people who are poor will get access to credit. But that's a different conversation. Hernando de Soto. I'm not ready for that. But I'm just saying, to see tensile iron rod move from 4,500 July to 11,500 in November, cement from 50 cedis to 85, 1 trip of sand from 1,800 to 3,100. shippings from 3,000 to 5,500. If I were the people in charge of the building and trade industry, I would not be sleeping. This is something that should keep them awake. This is a big thing. And when these guys, KJC and Co, what are these guys? Those guys hold a very strong part of our economy, and they're identifiable. We should have a meeting with them. I'm sure there are about 6 of them. If you drive around Achimota, you see the
all these.
So Atala, Iron Beds,
you see something.
B5.
Those people. You need to say, guys, what is going on? What can we do? Is there something we can do for you to at least maintain the price to Christmas? Because don't forget, a lot of people in the diaspora who send the 3 billion, which is more than the FDI, sometimes 4 billion. A lot of that goes into construction. So a lot of the money that comes in by Forex goes into this. So if somebody sends you £1,000 and says your foundation, Sati Foundation, then dollar need cost through. So he expects you to do more with the money. Because if he has sent you that $1,000 in February, it would have been 8. Mm-hmm. He sent you $1,000 in November, it's like 14. Then you say you can't even finish there. You say, you are chopping my money. He said, no, because the price is also going up. So he thinks that the dollar he's bringing is doing more, yet he's doing less because the inflation is eating the thing. So when the depreciation is supposed to even benefit diaspora Ghanaians, it's still not benefiting because inflation is eroding the issue. So it's something I feel the government should take a very, very serious view to, because if construction gets depressed, our growth projections will suffer very seriously. And those growth projections, once they go out of the band that we expect, we're going to have a lot of problems, Nathan.
Concerning your thoughts on 0549-986-996. But Rich Choco is your favorite cocoa beverage made from the finest Ghanaian cocoa. And Rich Choco is back with the National Essay Competition. There's a total of 100,000 CDs in grand prizes to be won by junior high and upper primary pupils. Now, they've got to write an essay describing 5 things they would like to see to help improve access to basic education in Ghana. The essay must be handwritten and not less than 750 words, for junior high pupils and 600 words for upper primary pupils. Now, submit your essay together with empty packs of either Rich Choco 1 kg or 500 gram or 5 packs of Rich Choco 20 gram and complete contact information to selected vantage points across the country. Deadline for submission of entries is the 19th of November 2022. You can visit Rich Choco Cadbury's Facebook page and Instagram pages for more details. Now, if you're an enterprise customer, this recognition is for you. The recent accolades we've received are indicative of the huge role you play in our business. In the prestigious Ghana Club 100, 4 of our subsidiaries, Enterprise Insurance, Enterprise Life, Enterprise Trustees, and Acacia, earned their respective positions as top companies. Again, in the recent CIMG Awards, Enterprise Insurance was retained in the CIMG Hall of Fame for the 6th straight time. We dedicate all these awards to you, our valued customers. Dream big with us. Enterprise is your advantage. Now, our favorite Verna water has become a basic staple to many Ghanaians. It's the #1 water brand in Ghana and is a multiple award-winning brand certified by ISO and hazard analysis and critical control points. Verna water is approved and acknowledged by the FDA and the Ghana Standards Authority and is produced by Petroleum Industrial Company Limited, the pride of the Ghanaian beverage industry. Make life simple on the go. Pay the easy way with a Zenith card online or in store. Now pay for your Facebook ads, Netflix, iTunes, Amazon subscription, and do your online shopping and in-store purchases. Think payments, think Zenith. Zenith Bank in your best interest.
Let me make your morning worse.
I lost you.
No, I'm just in that mood. Cocoa farmers declare rising cost of inputs. Story by Amma Techiwa and Pedua Jeman Kumasi. Cocoa farmers from 12 cocoa cooperatives and associations in Ghana have called for the government to increase the farm gate price of cocoa beans to make up for the rising cost of production. They said the continued rise in the cost of farm inputs such as fertilizers, pesticides, and farm machinery, as well as the cost of labor, were affecting cocoa production, causing them to lose huge sums of money. We call on government to intervene to make farm inputs readily accessible and available to enable us increase our yields as well as make enough profit to cater for our families. Now, they made the call at a conference organized for them in Kumasi by Sen Ghana with support from German partners Inkota and Sadwind. The rising cost of production is coming from all angles: fertilizer, cutlasses, and machinery used in spraying and pruning. The prices of equipment are going up and the farm gate prices keep fluctuating, and this does not reflect in the high rising cost of production, causing farmers to lose huge sums of money, he said. For his part, the chairman of the Cocoa Abrabopa Association, Pomisi Ismail, said there was no way the government would be able to sustain the cocoa sector if they did not address the issue of pricing. The Deputy Country Director of Sen Ghana, Dr. Emmanuel Ayifa, said it was worrying to know that cocoa communities and farmers who produce such important crop continue to remain poor. He said there was the need for the government to develop policies and provide infrastructure that would change the fortunes of Ghana's cocoa communities. So what is not going up? Charlie, cutlass.
What is not going up?
But by the way, I hope we don't import cutlasses. I hope we don't import cutlass. You know, there was a day I was driving somewhere and I saw a company called Adai Cutlass, and I thought they were into cutlass. They were into.
They sell musical instruments, that kind of thing.
I hope we produce cutlasses in Ghana.
I hope so too.
I hope so, because it will be a disgrace, but if we don't produce. Please, listeners, check for us which company produces.
I'm checking right now, actually.
Crocodile machetes or machetes.
Machete. Are they produced in Ghana?
Crocodile, I hope so, but I know that there's a company here.
So fertilizer is going up,
history.
cutlass is going up, machinery used in spraying is going up.
You know,
it's serious, guys.
Feed and all of that.
Hey,
even medicines, right? Even the things that are used to even treat if your plant is not working well and it's not growing well, insecticides, like pesticides. If you extend it to even the poultry business, right? Everybody is experiencing the fluctuation or the hike. It's just crazy.
Charlie. So
but one thing that's not gone up is salaries. You ask what is not going up, salaries. That's
you mean salaries are sticking down?
Yeah.
Forgive. Hey, who produces cutlasses?
I'm still looking up.
So the last time, the first day I saw Adai Cutlass. Actually, they started with cutlass manufacturing.
Before they invited.
Oh, is it true? Is it Adai Cutlass started with cutlass manufacturing?
I don't know that. Because
I would be surprised.
It could be in my consciousness. Adai Cutlass is a musical shop. They sell They sell instruments and things.
Yeah, maybe they realize that the cutlass, the cutlass will be cut. So make we move it to the. Hey, Adai Cutlass. And here crocodile machete to the manufacturer in Tema.
Yes.
Which one?
Crocodile machete.
All of it?
But do people use machete in farming?
Yes.
No, for cocoa tree there, you have to.
So there are some things that technology cannot.
Yeah, the point is, probably crocodile machetes may not. I don't know if they meet the demand, but the point is they do make.
You know, when I was going to secondary school, when you
you buy
the
two
things
cutlass. Sure.
But the grass we have, the langa was better.
Yeah.
So when you can bring you can't bring a machete. You bring a proper cutlass, but the machete is like for cocoa trees.
Yes.
And if you go to 3 years in that school and don't know how to weed, it means that you're a chorister.
Yeah, but langa we make it.
Only the choristers don't weed.
But langa we make it here.
Oh, but we make langa here.
Yeah, langa there actually balanga. If we import langa there, problem.
So. Please, if you know which company makes cutlass, but anyway,
cutlass and langa.
The cocoa farmers are saying that the price of cutlass has gone up. I don't know what is the raw material they use. The price of cutlass will go up.
The matter of the cocoa farmers is for another day.
Yes.
There's too
many things to say
happening in the cocoa space, Bernard. We've talked a big game.
But I've asked a question. I say, which part hasn't gone up?
Everything has gone up.
No, I'm talking of product. What hasn't gone up?
In terms of products, everything
cannot go up. I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's something that have not gone up. Some things there.
Like what? Water has gone up.
Wait, think of something.
No, I'm saying water has gone up.
Okay, have the price of clothes gone up?
Yes, because we import more than most people.
Yes. We import millions.
We're importing everything. Second hand.
In terms of
Force.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Shoes.
Force.
Have shoes gone up?
Yes. How many companies make shoes here?
What about computers?
Gone up. Unless we're importing everything.
Mobile phones.
Double.
But don't you check?
Phones. Okay,
hold on.
The price of phones because import.
Phones gone up.
Yeah, bill. Because they import by bills.
Yes.
Gary.
Considerably. Bernard, Gary has moved from 12 cedis to 20 Ghana cedis. Aloski, don't bring yourself this morning on the Gary.
Plastic bowls.
Gone up.
They've all gone.
We used to buy some for 20 cedis. Now we are buying it for around 35.
Toothpaste.
Gone up. Which one?
Toothpaste.
Which one? Gone up. Which one?
Sure? I'm thinking of things in my house now. Toilet roll.
Bernard! That one is. Hey, look, Bernard. The way it has gone up, people are considering making changes in their something. People are considering serious changes.
Okay, alcohol.
Gone up.
Alcohol gone up?
Yes, implements.
Alcohol.
Because sugar, all those things.
Okay, palm wine gone up.
Local palmy.
Local Akoto has gone up.
Yeah.
What
small?
What do they need? What do they import?
Small. They buy kerosene.
For what?
Honestly, see, you're underestimating kerosene. Have you seen the price of kerosene? You see, because you don't use kerosene, you've been checking petrol and diesel. Have you seen the price of kerosene?
You use kerosene to do aquatation?
No, you have to light something somewhere. They can use the chaff of the tree to light it up as well. Yes, without the kerosene.
So I see everything has gone up.
Gone up, yeah. But to make akpeteshi cry, you need to fire something somewhere.
But akpeteshi couldn't have gone up.
Why shouldn't it? Because they buy kerosene. They have to light fires.
Pito.
Up. Brukutu. Up. You can go whichever level you want us to go to. Everything's gone up.
I'm thinking. Please, if you can remember anything that hasn't gone up, let me know.
Roasted corn is 5 cedis.
From where? How much was it now in the past?
Where's the 2 cedis?
What about Kofi Brookman?
Oh, Kofi Brookman, they say that according to Kelly, it's Kofi Preman.
Kofi what?
Kofi Preman.
Why? What does it mean?
Because you are buying the thing 2 cedis, 3 cedis.
Some places 4 and 5.
4 and 5. So it's not Kofi Preman. It's no longer for broke people.
What about the granite?
Majid, stop misbehaving this morning. Charlie says if toilet roll has gone up, go and buy butter.
What is butter? Corn husk.
No.
They said no. The flask. The plastic flask.
No.
So we are going to use it kind of like a handheld bidet.
The handheld bidet.
No, don't do that.
So
everything has gone up.
Aloski, but the toilet roll issue, it's not to be laughed at.
But you know the thing I told you?
Two things.
The pack.
We manufacture toilet roll here, don't we? And I'm also told that a lot of the containers that come in with hard goods, they bring toilet roll as a padding. So they're not supposed to even pay a lot of duty on it. So why is toilet roll going up?
Aloski, see, this is my good friend. Kwesi Japan. He says, Force
Akosoro.
Force bill, which used to sell at 1,002,
is now
selling for 1,008 and 2,000.
A bill of force.
Yes, the bill.
From 1,000 to what?
2008 and 2,000.
Some people
from which period to which period? Because you see, don't forget the construction is a benchmark.
Yes.
From June, you have 1,500 for one trip of sand. It's now 3,100. So force is the first selection or the second selection?
Force.
Why when you say force, they are selection?
Yeah, I know.
The first selection is 4 a.m.
No.
4 a.m.
But the first selection
in the ways.
The first selection.
I'm skilled in force.
Money took me through a program of how to identify selections.
But
when you take the belt, how to take the shoe. Oh, there was. Omani, God will bless him.
But if your mind's still there, I will take you to seniors corner Cantamanto. 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Just 4 a.m.
Proper selection.
I will give you proper things, Aloski. It's imported.
If force has gone up, let's do tech and social.
Let's do tech and social media trends. That segment is brought to us by Cowbank. Now, Cowbank is telling you to enjoy life beyond cash when you use any of their digital solutions. Now, they've got the Visa, MasterCard, GH Link cards. They've got the Cowbank app as well. You can call them on 0800 500 500 and you can get to them on social media. Email customercare@cowbank.net. Cowbank, for it together. And the segment's also brought to us by Vodafone. Vodafone, further together.
Yes, please.
Daniel Cranting is here, and
I have a question for him first. Has the price of salt gone up?
Salt
there, can't.
It's gone up.
Salt?
Even Gary has gone up. Gary is
more
expensive.
Salt is cheaper than Gary.
Yeah, but salt has gone up.
Because when I was in Presec, there was a day we didn't have anything. We had Gary sugar and salt. It's not Gary salt and water.
Yeah.
If salt has gone up there,
we've done reports on the price of salt. Yeah, Bimbila all the way down. Salt has gone up considerably.
All right.
I give up.
Table salt or the rock salt.
Rock salt.
Yes. Oh, baby, Ako. Everything.
Mr. Kwanzi.
Ghana. Ghana is hard, man. Now Friday when you say, oh, should we go out? They say, oh, today is a chill night. They say, I don't feel like going out. Oh, this guy say you don't feel like going out. We have suffering. It's hard, though. But Shatawale is in the trends.
Why?
Bulldog is suing him. Yeah. Bulldog is not happy at all. Suing him for defamation. He says he's giving him a number of days to retract and apologize to him. This is in regards to the Kwao manager situation here when he says Bulldog, or he alluded, saying that Bulldog has something to do with it. So Bulldog is not happy. He sued Shatawale. The Jams album is trending #1.
Jams.
Yes. Sarkodie.
Comes out on the 11th.
On the 11th.
Yeah.
So we are waiting. But the track list is out.
Okay.
Charlie, it's not small. Sarkodie knows how to do things. There's Kim Promise, there's Oxlade, there's Cranium, there's Joe Boy, there's Blacko.
Come on.
Come on. I mean, the one I'm looking forward to is track 7.
Track
the
7
title is Over Me, featuring Sinasu.
The thing Over Me.
Hey,
you Charlie.
Everywhere there's over me. There's over me. So then you have
Sinasu.
As the Bible says, Ukobe don't sunya.
You say something for me. Hey, Bernard, I thought we were allies.
Ukobe don't sunya. James chapter 4.
Charlie, the UCL draw is also trendy.
Oh God,
Charlie.
From frying pan to fire, Liverpool. Meaning there, they should even sell the club. Charlie, I want to do badminton.
Round of 16, she Real Madrid versus Liverpool. What is that? Oh, then if you see the rest of the pairings to Barca like that,
Man City, Leipzig,
oh, yeah, teams. What is that? Liverpool, Real Madrid, PSG buying,
and then Man U too.
Oh, the Man U to Europa. If not them, who have we wronged? Who have we wronged? Oh, Barcelona. Hey, but you have to why?
The thing is rigged.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I'm sure they make the ones of the ball hot.
Oh, it's vibrating.
The hot one.
What you pick
As for that draw, it was a very easy draw.
No. Barcelona.
How can you have the former champ, like, you know, the two finals, PSG versus Bayern, Liverpool in
round of 16. Then they are all good. Somebody will go out.
We will watch again.
Then you go and see somebody like this thing, Leipzig, or somebody in semi-final. What is that? Don't do that. Mpesa. Later, I'm angry. I'm going safe. Oh, what is this?
But are you done with it?
I finished. I'm angry.
Christy, how long have we been doing these businesses?
Oh, just about.
Christy, stop. How long are we going to stay calling ourselves small businesses?
Oh, but small.
Christy, the small is enough. It's our time, oh.
Society becomes the society becomes discrepant and forced into abysmal decadence. If you think he has done something wrong, why don't you take him to court? Articulating a minor motive against an inarticulate major motive. The articulating a minor motive, I'll tell you, you are importing fake drugs. But the inarticulate major motive, the inferior motive, the wicked motive, the hidden motive is that you are a political opponent.
Very good bad boy.
Ghana, your beloved country is free forever.
Plenty questions, no answer. How come we dey sell the contracts? Biggie lifestyle, small paper. You make you celebrate, the shuffle for counter. We get eyes but can't see. Bribery and corruption. Our leaders take it but don't give. So make a ask, Kuma, where you dey? No be you talk say my beloved country is free forever. But still we dey suffer. In Kuma, where you dey? You know be you talk say my beloved country is free forever. But your people still dey suffer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where the money go.
Welcome back. This is still the Citi Breakfast Show. Messages are welcome on 0549 986 990.
You know, there's a message I don't understand. Somebody said Adai Cutlass started as a cutlass manufacturing company and diversified into importing musical instruments. Like, how do you... What's the difference between cutlass and instrument?
Well, let me explain to you. So apparently, he was a music enthusiast and he was the group leader at St. Cyprian's Anglican Church. So he bought instruments for the group and then ventured into that business in the 90s.
So that cannot be diversification. That is complete. The diversities I know, they are related concentric entities. There's no relationship between cutlass and musical instruments.
And apparently he used to share cutlasses twice a year for free at church and for farmer groups in Anglican churches.
Oh, and then he moved to instruments and realized that the import was better.
It was solid.
But think about it. Manufacturing of cutlasses is manufacturing. Manufacturing is what you want to develop.
But do we know for sure if they were making...
Yeah, but this is the thing. You know, generally, you have people who do import, then eventually manufacture. So it knows that he's gone back. He started manufacturing and he's gone to now import. Yeah. So it's almost like deindustrializing. That's not right.
But I have a message for you. Well, because before I get to that though, good morning. Apparently, the morning STC bus to Tamale are listening to us.
Where have you gotten to?
STC. I don't know where they've gotten to, but...
Shout out to the people on the morning
the coach
bus.
of Tamale City FC, he's on the bus, so he sent a message that they are listening. So Wahid Mohammed of Tamale City and all the guys, we wish you a safe journey to Tamale. Keep listening to City STC. Change all the stations on the
and as they are going. Which city would they stop to buy food to eat?
And how much will it cost? We want to know. You know, and a couple of messages that have come through this morning. Some interesting ones, Aloski. Kojo Kwambanafu says, Bernard, Godfred, everything has gone up.
Salt has not gone up.
Including I love you.
Hey.
Because before you can tell the person I love you, but just on a more serious note, government's solution to the rising cost of living is woefully inadequate. One aspect of leadership which is very paramount in our question around is decision making. Now, we said Japan comes back with the timelines for the force. He says the force bill used to be around 1,200 in July. From August till now, it's increased astronomically, and now it's being hoarded by distributors to sell at higher prices because they aren't sure if they can import more anytime soon.
So now they are hoarding.
Yeah.
You see, when people talk about Ghanaian business people and how they are pricing behavior, kalabuli.
Yeah.
So this is kalabuli.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Classic Man, cheating on that, Primakov says, on Friday, I want to see my force plug at Kantamanto. Charlie, the 30 Ghana cedi selection, it's now going for 50 Ghana cedis. He's not very happy with that price move. On our WhatsApp platform, a couple more. Good morning, Bernard. Cement is now 93 Ghana cedis, not 85 Ghana cedis.
Somebody actually sent me a cement, like your guy who gave you the first one. And let me just read it. It says, Bernard, So cement in January this year was averaging 49 cedis for the highest grade in Accra. Today, the highest grade of cement on the market is 96 cedis in Accra. The lowest grade is now 84. So January, highest grade was 49. Now the lowest grade is 84. The sad thing is that the top distributors of cement in Ghana, you know, I mentioned some of them, K, Ofori, Nana, JC, Atala, they can't do anything to maintain the price on the market. So they need to cater for the additional cost they incur on fuel, which is diesel. Months back, distributors didn't mind making 0.30 cedis a margin on a bag. Sadly, this can't be said today, as they are now spending more on diesel to transport the cement to various destinations. Now they have to price cement to make a minimum of 1 cedi 50 pesos margin on a bag.
Hey. Okay. Now
think about that though. 1 cedi. Now think about it. If you're building a house or you do a foundation, if you have to, and they are doing 1 cedi 50 pesos a bag, and you are buying the cement for almost 100 cedis for a bag of cement. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's
now,
bad.
chicken back.
Name of a person?
No, chicken. The back of chicken.
Yes,
it's
yes,
part of, you know, it's quite popular. We sell that. Oh, yeah. Apparently, used to, we're buying a 9 Ghana cedis. It's now 24 Ghana cedis. And the local salt that you spoke about moved.
In
Chine. So it's moved from 50 pesos to 2 Ghana cedis.
Rock salt?
Yeah.
Not iodized?
Yeah, rock. Yeah. So 50 pesos to 2 Ghana cedi. And it's very small. Small 2 Ghana cedi. Okay, let me just go straight to the Gary business. I heard you guys say that Gary is 20 cedis. My mom sells it for 16 cedis for 1 olonka. Let me know if you want to buy in bulk. Man, we are not buying. Okay. Chaloboda, I just bought 4 bags of sand at 6 Ghana cedis for 1 and 90 Ghana cedis for 1 bag of cement. Charlie, it left the air, then go make we start buy.
Charlie, if the price of air had gone up, I would be dead.
I tell you.
A ton of iron rod is 9,000 Ghana cedis. It was less than 4,000 Ghana cedis at the beginning of this year. My building has car for plenty months now.
So, Godfred, think about it though. The cost of building has doubled.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going back to my point about foreign money for building. The value of the dollar has become stronger. So if you send somebody $100 in January, times 7, now you are getting times 14. Yet the cost of the building has also doubled. So basically you haven't done anything
for the person, no? Oh. This one says we build them on by day basis. You buy 2 bags, you lift it up to 2 course. You wait, you get another 2 bags, you raise your level of courses till you complete. This one, good morning, Nathan and Bernard, Godfred. Most of the people who are building today have paid for materials way before now. So he says
that's why they are building. Yeah, because the way they build, I didn't understand.
And this one, I was in a boat yesterday to Tema. Same question I asked the driver. Where are these people getting the money to build? I quizzed. This is Idris Senna from Amanfro Adenta. Good morning, Bernard and team. I used to buy a pack of toilet roll at 25 Ghana cedis. Last week, I bought it at 40 Ghana cedis. The Everpack brand from Promise Valley View University.
25 to 40.
Yeah.
Now, in January, duty for used clothing, FOS, was 38,000 Ghana cedis. Now, duty for used clothing is 78,000 Ghana cedis for a 40-foot container. What hasn't increased?
You know the funny thing?
Adam is asking.
We say we don't want to dollarize the economy. The BOG says we should sell in cedis. Yet a lot of state agencies index their charges officially to the dollar.
Yeah.
So who are you deceiving?
Good morning, City CBS, Bernard. The price of local gin, aka Aketeshi, has gone up because they buy sugar.
Come on.
Which helps the fermentation of the palm oil.
This time they are stretching the matter.
Bernard, clothes have gone up. Half price of GTP is now 300 Ghana. Half piece of GTP is now 300 Ghana cedis. Used to sell at 150 Ghana cedis.
Terrible.
Brah, last week I take my soaking turkey go sleep. As the Nkatia one not be 1 Ghana cedis. He over me till now. Nanasazi. Nanasazi says he ended his feelings quick.
So you see, as I was saying, if the government, you see, you are hearing the diesel in a lot of the conversations. Diesel is affecting the people who transport the cement. Diesel is affecting almost everything that has to do with movement.
Yeah.
So it's very inflationary. So if there's a subsidy on diesel, it's not government giving money for people to chop. It's actually helping to keep prices low. And I hope they know that.
And the one that worries me a lot better is medicines. So my good friend sends me one. He says, Salamol inhaler for asthma patients used to go for 18 cedis. It's now 35 cedis.
That's double.
So that's double.
Yes. So Salamol inhaler. That one has also gone up.
There's another question I wanted to ask. Which region is the cheapest to live in? Based on inflation data, if you can check. You know, there was usually they do the inflation per region. I really have
inflation.
Look, in the 3 months I haven't been here, I've thought a lot about which place to live. You know, and I think we need to think about which regions make for better living. Because Accra is insane. Accra is insane, but that's a different conversation. Carl, if you can read a few more. Accra is actually insane.
Salt is 30 Ghana cedis for Lonka, Na Somo, Adabaka. Salt has gone up. Even Kako. This is your fee from Jolu. Nathan, tell Bernard.
Has fish gone up?
Fish.
You can't buy fish, oh.
Fish
Why?
for KK.
Fish for KK.
8
Why?
CD, 10
Sure,
CD.
8 CD, 10 CD,
12 CD.
12 CD.
But the government subsidized the fishermen.
The premix.
So why are they or have the fish started charging
The
more
fish
for
came from
coming
the
out?
US.
Yeah.
Dollar fish.
No. The fish you get from our sea.
Yeah, it's a dollar, but they are still dollar fish.
Charlie, sometimes we just find reason to increase prices.
Bernard.
How does a fisherman
They tell you the cooking oil is expensive.
with cooking oil?
The one they fried the fish with.
Cooking oil.
Okay, so we'll go and buy the fish raw.
We'll
We'll go and buy the fish raw at the shop.
you will still buy oil. And prices of oil are high.
People
Ridiculous.
are just we'll steam the fish.
It's serious. But
With what?
With what?
With salt water.
The salt has gone up.
But it's not that high. We don't need fish. We don't need oil to chop fish. We'll boil the fish.
But I went to buy milk powder yesterday and
For yourself?
Yeah, for some things.
Okay.
And then they said no, they are holding on to it. They had the milk powder, but they said they are holding on to it, meaning
Guys,
they want to increase the price.
There
Hey,
are a couple of comments you read about hoarding, which I wanted to investigate. Is there hoarding going on in Ghana? Because somebody said they are not selling the
the
clothes,
foods. They are waiting.
All right.
Because they don't know when next they'll be able to
Somebody
import.
also told me that they are keeping the rice that they want to sell and waiting to see.
exactly.
Now, is that not
Exactly.
Is that not hoarding goods? Is that not what led to revolution in
but
something?
Is that not also people gauging margins and availability? You see, because for somebody who was paying 38,000 and is paying for 70, is now paying 78,000.
Yeah, but
he will not be able to perhaps afford the next import.
No, but my question is that is hoarding not a crime?
It is. It is.
But okay. Let's define it properly. Having goods and not wanting to sell.
Sell, yes.
Which law have they broken?
I don't know which law they've broken, but it should be bad.
Maybe we should ask Apia Adomako, because if
Clement Akapam, please tell us something.
I know I've heard a few people say that they go and look for something but they are not getting, and it looks like the distributors are keeping it and waiting for Christmas to sell it. That was a crime under PNDC something.
But maybe it might also be because there might be demand for it. People are also not buying things. Aloski, you'll be shocked.
People are not buying?
People are not buying, no. People are not buying.
So
people enter shops, ask for prices, and walk away.
So, okay,
last week, I entered the shop and walked away.
Hold on. That can't be true, because if people are not buying, why are prices still high?
No. Aloski, some of the things are there. But people are not buying at the rates that people expect people to buy. You will be shocked. Things are not moving.
Ghana, we are all lying. The whole country is a crime scene. Everybody's lying.
Of course.
What do you mean people are not buying?
People are not buying, Aloski. I'm telling you, people are not buying.
People are not buying what?
If people are not buying, prices will be coming down.
No.
How can prices
Because
be
the things no day. The things no day.
Which things no day?
The things you won't buy no day. Those who then get them.
They hold them.
They hold them. Two, the prices too you don't want to pay.
We are all lying.
I will say, have you not entered shops these days and walked away from the shop because of prices? Or the market?
No, when you see it's like fire burns you, then you drop it.
I will go to the market regularly. I will come.
Allow. Yeah. People are not buying.
People are not buying. It's true. Yeah. Like, I said,
let's use data. I think people are.
I understand.
People are buying things.
People are not buying. I'm telling you. People are not buying at the rate at which sellers expect us to buy.
The point is that people will buy. They may not buy.
What didn't buy last week?
They may not buy in huge quantities. The point is, okay, see, if you are home and you need to get stuff that you clearly have to buy. What will be the difference is that you won't buy as much as you probably used to.
Do you have the release that the statistical service usually sends when they send their inflation data? Because usually when they send that data, they will tell you the sectors that have high inflation and also tell you which prices are moving at which rate. Because I really want to compare the food inflation to the construction one, to transportation, to housing, because Ghana doesn't make sense to me anymore. I really don't understand the country. Because people say they are not selling, people are hoarding, they say they don't have money.
Let me get you.
The whole thing doesn't
the
make
fish
sense.
business.
Yeah.
Premix prices have gone up.
By what percentage?
Come on. I found the story. Calm down.
By what percentage?
It's there.
Rural women in farming, food processing, post-harvest, fish processing, and advocacy have expressed worry over the recent hike in premix fuel and agric inputs, indicating that the hike was affecting their business negatively. So they pleaded with the Ministry of Food and Agric and Aquaculture to come to their aid. Said initially the fuel and agric inputs were not readily available, and we thank government for making them available. However, it has become expensive and is costing us dearly.
By what percentage?
It's not here.
I think the fish sellers are taking advantage.
This is 19th October.
Of the general price hikes to also increase their price. And by the way, a reliable source is telling me that, Nathan, hoarding is not
a crime.
Property rights in a democracy means I can either decide to sell my goods or not. Onulu?
Yes.
So please, this is your hoarding matter.
No, but I'm also telling that most people are not buying.
They are buying.
No, Aloski, you see,
if they are not buying, why are prices going up? I keep telling you that, you see, the demand
are not buying.
See, there's a basic equation.
It does not work in this country. There's no equation that works here.
Later, the first thing you learn in economics when you go to SS1, demand and supply.
Yes, we all did economics.
Yes, when quantity, like it's in terms of quantity and price.
Yes.
The more people demand, the less the supply, the price will come down.
Yes.
So if you say people are not buying, it means demand is depressed.
The Ghanaian seller is a very patient person. You don't know.
If demand is depressed, how will price go up?
Aloski, the Ghanaian seller is a patient person. I'm telling you.
So he'll keep the goods.
He's waiting for us, but we are not buying too. But he will keep the price there.
Are you referring to necessities or luxury?
Aloski, have you seen anybody doing reduction sale anywhere at the market?
I've seen one or two clearance sales where shops are closed.
Nobody's buying.
Nobody's
buying.
Bernard.
So why is there traffic in town? Where are the
Where's traffic? There's no traffic.
Haven't you noticed these days that
I drove through Accra happily the other time.
You went to Accra Central?
I said I drove through it happily. I could not do that. I drove through Accra happily.
You are saying traffic has come down because...
It has come down.
Really?
People are checking prices hoping that they will come down, but the things are not dropping. So they go and ask and leave.
And you know that usually Christmas prices go up?
Yes. So which is what they are waiting for. The sellers know. That's what
okay,
they're
so
waiting for.
Maybe what will save the economy will be the diaspora people coming for Christmas.
How much? Where do they go to Kantaman?
No, they will bring dollars.
They don't bring anything.
They will bring pounds.
They won't bring anything. The diaspora people.
They will bring money.
Oh, forget.
Now, Richoko is bringing you the national essay competition. There's a prize package of 100,000 cedis to be won. Now, here's how you get it. Now, if you know somebody who's in junior high or upper primary, let them write an essay describing 5 things they would like to see to help improve access to basic education. If they're in upper primary, their word limit is 600. If they are in JHS, their word limit is 750. Now, let them submit that essay together with empty packs of either Richoko 1 kg or 500 gram or 5 packs of Richoko 20 gram and complete contact information to selected vantage points across the country. Deadline for submission of entries is 19th November 2022. Visit Cadbury Richoko's Facebook and Instagram pages for more details. Now, a Norwich new season is here. Malta Guinness is inviting you to watch and support the goodness in women's football with the Malta Guinness Women's Premier League. Follow every pass, tackle, and goal as our ladies add some style to fuel your passion for football. Follow the Malta Guinness Women's Premier League on our social channels, hashtag Malta Guinness WPL, and watch the matches live on Max TV Weekly. Apollonia City is inviting you to their 2022 edition of the Family Day. Apollonia City is Accra's newest $250 million city equipped with state-of-the-art infrastructure. Come and network with other people, take a tour of our futuristic city, and explore the most viable investment options in today's tricky market. It's happening on the 12th of November at the Adumwa Place, located at the heart of Apollonia City. Buses will leave the Accra Mall at 8 a.m. See you there. Now your messages are brought to you by Creamy Plus Evaporated Milk. Takes you back to the original creamy taste of evaporated milk, and it's a great complement to your tea, coffee, gari, soakings, and other cereals. It's gentle on the stomach. It has essential vitamins and vegetable fat. Now, if you are interested in buying, you can go to your Go shops, Bajona Total, and other supermarkets in your neighborhood, or for bulk purchase, you can contact Les Farm Distributors at Medina Rates Junction on 0501-682-522, or Grace has found us at Akoko Photo in Dantoman on 0245-162747. All right, let's get into your money. Your money brought to you by CBG. CBG, we stand with you. And Godfred has
where
the
the
segment
system
for us
cuts.
this
Now, I'm
morning.
going back to an old tip that we always seem to forget because we don't have discipline. We lack discipline. And in these times, discipline, financial discipline is key. So my tip for today, remember that time we all decided to save in our Susu box. Aloski, you started and you stopped. Nathan, you started and you stopped. I started and then I stopped. Caleb didn't start. So I'm saying start a loose change jar. Charlie, the coins.
No, book coin.
And all Aloski, if you add them up, let's save all those things. Don't throw any coin away. Start a loose change jar, drawer, box, handkerchief, somewhere, and be disciplined about it. At the end of the year, you will have some loose change to enjoy as the prices go up.
That was your money brought to you by CBG. CBG, we stand with you.
Money don't get everything. It's
A bank that supports you.
Qatar 2022 is on.
Piacano, you shot the petrol.
What's the petrol saying?
My shot the petrol, 151. I'm going to be able to shot the petrol. Yeah, shot
now, banana himself.
Me, this guy, and it's here to have gallon. And I shot to know. Uber, name Piawai. Yes, sir, you shot the petrol. So I won't say I shot the petrol. Yes, Ramo, you shot the petrol. Now, the petrol, you shot the petrol.
In the week, how many times now shot the petrol?
Papa, you shot to. You shot to. Yes, you're too bad, and I'm short to.
They be a boo Ghana.
Papa, maybe I mean, I'm going to board in 51 Ghana cities, Madame Akoto, Namekota, and about him, the bottom, 10 in the dummy bottom, and I must let me know I'm going to half.
No one,
maybe I saw my year, because of demonstration, Central region, I know, and then the Masho to petrol. It's a Mumwami, why? Mumwami, MP.
You can if
you central reading if you magazine and American and not demonstration me young quiet.
Central reading but draw one shot petrol 50 hour
Echo Parliament, and was short to Sabbath anybody, and then my short to know.
Fox speed, roll it.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio.
From my
This is Citi
baby, I
97.3.
see can I lock it, baby, I block it. So yeah, my abemumo, yeah, then I befa, oh, befa, yeah, then I befa. Go croko, ya no me tia choteto, and Ramanda, tuntun de diet moto, Obrayoko, se misio bia chalato, chale no bilaye, bibia ya, obia ya wadia, chale no bilaye, bibia ya, obia ya wadia, Grandma ya shit, baby ya shit. See can I lock it, baby I block it. So yeah, my abemumo, yeah, then I befa, oh, befa, yeah, then I befa.
8:36.
Live on the street,
Sending your messages on 0549986996. Now, the other aspect of all of this, as we go through these very tough times, are your investments. At 9 a.m., we'll talk to our very good friends from the SEC just to break things down and set your mind at ease really on whether there's a haircut, no haircuts, there's a boy, there's back bush, there's fade.
So it's actually the SEC and then the industry association.
Yes,
So Reverend Obami from SEC and then Kese Antonio from the industry. So they'll try and explain the directives that have come up for the past few weeks and what it means for your investment. But you know, one of the things I have been thinking about doing, I think I want to go back to school. You know why?
Why?
All the things I learned, they don't make sense
anymore. Yes.
I think the notes I learned, they have changed. The world has changed. Because, I mean, look, here's a friend of mine. He says, Bernard, I was buying a T-roll, fluffy T-roll at 95 cedis last year, November. So that's exactly a year ago, right? And moved to 150 in March, and it's now 270.
Hey!
Now, 95 to 270 is more than 100%.
Yes.
And this is November to November. Yet your inflation is not up to 50%.
Yes.
What is inflation? The rate at which prices are changing. And there are two inflation measures, average inflation, year-on-year inflation. So either I don't understand the way they are calculating it, or I have to go and upgrade my knowledge.
No, but I've told you that this is Ghana, where nothing you've learnt works.
Yeah, because even the relationship between the exchange rate and inflation
does not work.
You know, if the city has appreciated about 50% over the period, it's. And the other thing I can't figure out is, you know, when FMCGs make products, they usually do, so when they do margarine, so they will do margarine jar.
Yeah.
And they'll do strip margarine, and they'll say for the poor.
Yes.
So when they do Pepsodent, they have a big Pepsodent, then they'll say they'll do the one.
The sachet one.
My question is it really cheaper to buy the smaller one? So if you have how many of 8?
Yeah.
And you are poor, is it better if you bought the big margarine or whether you bought the tiny
small ones? The bigger ones are always better, but for you to even have the money to buy that is the concern. I mean, sometimes there are some places where they do wholesale. So if you buy from that end, then you get it cheaper because you get more.
But if the poor
it's just like data, right?
If the poor person buys strips of Pepsodent,
it will finish early.
Every 3 days.
It will finish
early.
early.
It's better if you had the whole, or if you have the big one.
It will cost you more even going there to buy. The time you spend, the money you spend.
How do the FMCGs and the players, how do they rather brand those ones as poor people's products? But it's actually more expensive, is it not?
It's not.
Because if you had a big bowl,
yes,
then you could even put some aside and use it for a longer period.
Yes.
Or they can't afford to spend that much at once. So it's better to spend 2 cedis to buy the small one.
And then buy other things in small bits. But then you are going to buy again, and the cost of even going there is going to increase your whatever. You know, when you buy data, when you buy the 399 package, for example, it's going to last way longer than when you're buying 10 cedi.
So it means our pricing,
it's not.
Which ostensibly is supposed to help the poor, doesn't really help.
It doesn't help the poor, that's true.
And the other thing that worries me, Nathan, is that a lot of the people's experience about price changes, they suggest that inflation is much higher than it is. Because if what people are saying is to be believed, somebody said I used to buy till at 95 in November,
Oh, 256.
Cement at 49, now 96. That's it's double.
Those are 100% jumps.
You know, so I don't know if I'm misunderstanding the thing, or the economics I've learned it has changed, or the syllabus has changed. But so many, you know, I don't know.
Tell him my one tweet that I am happy about this. It comes from now. It says, Bernard, even braiding has gone up. Braiding. Hair for braiding and weave on has tripled. And salons are ripping us off to this one. I'm happy they are ripping you off. Go and cut your hair.
You know the funny thing? I was listening to a data. I was in some analysis on the BBC. On the BBC, and the 3 leading importers of fake hair in Africa.
We did inside.
And you know the funny thing, and this is in terms of volume and value. South Africa has over 50 million people.
Yes.
Nigeria has over
200 and something.
Ghana has 30 million, and we are number 3. Godfred, I mean, why? Ethiopia has more people than us. Uganda has more people than us.
Yes.
Kenya has more people than us.
Yes.
Tanzania has more people than us. Yet we are number 3 in Africa in importing fake hair.
What about the tomato paste? We're in Nigeria. Nigeria is at 12.5 at number 1. We are 12, number 2. Look at the population. We are the leading importers of tomato paste.
And this let's need to know, Nathan. Ghana is probably like the 12th largest African country. If you bring North African countries in, now Nigeria, DRC, Ethiopia, all right, then you have South Africa, you have Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Algeria, Egypt. They are all more than us. And yet we they import
more hair,
more tomatoes, more sugar, more salt, more rice,
more everything. If you break down our import mix,
there's a fundamental flaw in our economic.
Yeah,
we need to rethink.
Yes, it's because a lot of the things we use,
Mm-hmm.
we are bringing them from outside. If you break down our import mix from say 2020, we are importing all kinds of things: hair, cosmetics, used clothes, cars.
But why doesn't
all kinds of
why
things.
can't we
to the billions? We are importing in billions.
You see, this is my challenge. This is my challenge. There are things we need which are necessities that we can remove tariffs from.
Mm-hmm.
Things which are inputs for final usage.
Yes.
So if a company like B5 Plus is doing steel,
yes, and they are importing,
I will give them a tax. I'll give them a tax rebate. What do you call it? A tax. What's the name of the thing they call it? Help me.
Holiday.
Yes, on some of yes, because they are importing in intermediate goods to finish something that will help our companies. But if somebody is bringing in fake hair is a luxury. Do you understand me? Fake hair. So the tariff, I don't think our tariff policy even supports the infant industry argument necessarily. I do not think so. And even our free zones companies, I'll tell you something. I was listening to Netele this morning, and she was talking about, I don't know whether it was yesterday or today, that they said Ghana Free Zones boss says.
Oh yeah, it's on Citi Business News. Ghana Free Zones.
They said read the story for me, and I'm going to punch a hole there. You see, our economic policies are worsening people's personal economic circumstances, and I'll explain it.
Okay.
Because read a story for me.
Okay. Now the story is on citibusinessnews.com. It says the Ghana Free Zones Authority, right, has revealed that it expects $230 million to be injected into the economy from 39 newly licensed companies by the authority. Now, the 39 new free zones companies, which were licensed to operate within the last year and a half, are expected to bring in about $529 million by way of export earnings. Now, this was disclosed by Ambassador Michael Kokui Jr.
I'll explain why I don't
during
agree.
the launch of the 2022 investment. Now, he's the CEO of the Ghana Free Zones Authority.
Did they give us a breakdown of these companies?
Not necessarily.
You know my problem. See.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Now it says the total number of free zones companies, right? 217. Okay. Out of these companies, 72 are wholly Ghanaian owned, representing 33%. 74 are wholly foreign owned. 71 are joint ventures. So
Good.
That's a breakdown.
What sectors are they in? You know, we know I'm going with this. So you are having a forex crisis in your country. Essentially, you don't have enough foreign exchange. The reason the cedi is falling, among other things, is that your central bank doesn't have enough reserves of dollars. Where do you get your dollars from? Apart from the fact that you go and borrow, your main dollars come from exports. Nathan, you are supposedly giving companies a tax holiday of a kind
Live
to
from the
produce
Eastern
at a free
region.
zones enclave to bring in foreign exchange. All right. Now, these companies are supposed to bring dollars into Ghana to shore up your dollar reserves. I can tell you that a lot of our exporting companies, particularly the ones not owned by Ghanaians, they don't bring dollars into Ghana.
They rather.
This is what they do. There are companies in Ghana who get a lot of tax breaks. So he's manufacturing chocolate products. He's manufacturing orange juice. He's selling directly to Carrefour in France or is directly to Asda in the UK. They are not paying the money into his Ghana. They are not paying to Ghana Commercial Bank account. They are not paying the money into his ABSA account. They are paying into offshore accounts. Because if I export pineapples from Accra and I'm owned by an European, I can tell you that pay the money into my Netherlands account. So they will record that Ghana has exported $100 million.
But the money is not coming here.
That's my point. So you have an economy that is giving ostensibly a lot of opportunity for people to produce goods. One, a lot of the goods are exported directly to abroad. They don't serve the local market. And two, the proceeds don't come into your country. Yet you record it as an import into your country. So on paper, you have a trade surplus.
But in reality,
your Bank of Ghana's reserves have dwindled by over 30% in the same period that you had that trade surplus. It doesn't make sense. And I'm saying that, you see, the economy was not built for us. It was built for people. We're supposed to be a raw material producing country. So when they even say they are coming to manufacture and add value, they are not adding the value for you. I know there are companies in Ghana who produce high quality products. But less than 2% of what they produce is spent here. And when they export the product, for some reason, we allow them to call themselves Ghanaian companies, yet we don't get the dollar here. So the BOG is always looking for dollars. And people are selling dollars to... for me, the economy's ethos, the Ghana's place in the global economy as a producer of raw materials for advanced economies and not as a destination has not changed. So when I hear these numbers, GIPC and all these things, we have to break down, okay, how many of these are actually bringing? Now, I do not discount employment. I'm not saying employment is not good. Employment is great. But if you're saying someone's going to bring $500 million into an economy over a period, it should reflect in the BOG's reserves. Where is the money? Does the BOG even have access to all that forex? And in this crisis we're facing, I think the BOG should be very bold and say, look, guys, if you are an exporting company and you want to be licensed to operate in Ghana, then you must be paid in your Ghana account. Because what's the point in locating your company here and letting people pay money into your GGS and your BOG in their forex options? BOG is looking, people are looking to buy $100 million of forex. BOG is only able to give them 1/4 of that. You get me? And I'm saying that a lot of your economic policies are wrong-headed. So your dollar is depreciating rapidly because everything is priced in the dollar, and all the companies you are giving tax breaks to that they should produce for you, they don't even have the what's the word to use? The presence of mind to put any of the money here. Okay, so you are basically producing raw materials, getting 1/10 of the value of the final product, and you are happy. That cannot be right. And the complaints, and it's like our policymakers, they just come and complain. Where is the original thinking to turn around the economy? If after this massive foreign exchange crisis, we don't have any bold initiative to really solve it, because if I'm the governor of the Bank of Ghana now, it's like I can't sleep. So there should be not just, and I mean, you are running a free, they call it what do you call it? A floating foreign exchange regime. You have a monetary policy that just raises interest rates. You must have policies that make sure that because there's a relationship. You see, there's a base relationship between your monetary policy, your whether you are operating a floating or free exchange rate, and the inflow of investment proceeds into your country. We are not benefiting. We are not benefiting. And I think that our leaders have not been bold enough to do the difficult things we need. So all these things people are complaining about, prices are going up. They are causes. If the policy is wrong, the outcome cannot be right. Okay, so when I hear all these stories, oh, we are bringing investors in. Which country in the world has depended on investors to develop it alone? The country is so liberalized. Anything goes. And then we turn around and don't understand why the economy is collapsing. How do you become the third largest importer of fake hair? How? How? I mean, think about how.
Because we like hair.
Yeah, because we like it.
It's not because we like hair. It's because our policy allows it because somebody benefits.
Yes.
Are you telling me that people in Uganda don't like nice hair?
They like nature.
Oh. We are not committed to doing things that will change the economy. I don't think we are. Third largest importer of fake hair. Why? Is our hair thicker, harder than other people's hair? Is there a problem in the Ghanaian hair?
I find it very offensive.
I'm using that as an entry point into a bigger discussion of over-liberalized policies and weak governance. This point about export proceeds, it doesn't make sense to me. So
it will be interesting to just feed into that. It will be interesting to see what the numbers are. I will try and dig up some numbers in terms of what Nigeria looks like, what Cote d'Ivoire looks like, what other countries that are around us look like. Because I have a feeling our percentages will be somewhere in the 50s or 60%.
Mm-hmm.
And Nigeria and the others will be below 20%. In terms of the amount of money that go up.
That go up.
Yes.
Okay.
Ben, we don't produce cutlasses in Ghana.